Okay, so good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us for our Health and Hope Night. And I'm really excited about starting these, doing them once a month so that we can start to really make a difference in people's lives. And so I'm going to flip over to my slides here. And yeah, Health and Hope Night, and we're going to talk about transformation stories. So I'm going to, be presenting some information about our lifestyle program and weaving it in with real people who have done well on this lifestyle program. And I absolutely love um, the side by sides. When I work with a client, I always insist that they send me their before pictures. And so many times, as you can imagine, people that struggle with weight, they don't want to be seen in pictures. And so, but I encourage people to take those before pictures because even before they get to their goal weight, it's so powerful for them to see the progress. When you look in the mirror every day and you see yourself day after day after day, to you, you look the same. To us, we look the same. But when you combine it with your before picture, then you can say, holy cow, gosh, I am having some progress here. Um, and so on the left side, Crystal lost 156 pounds. She's kept it off for about 15 years. She loves, her new way of life, her new way of being. And on the right side, Brad lost 120 pounds. He too has kept it off for many years. And what I love about Brad's story is he was in and out of the hospital, in and out of the doctor's office because of heart disease and other medical issues. And you don't even recognize the transformation that he's had. Jet skiing and hiking and just being the active person that he was meant to be. The other thing is that with oh, the other thing that I wanted to cover before I went on to the next slide is my background. So, my name is Dee Garcia. I'm a physician. I practiced medicine for 30 years with a specialty in breast cancer. And you might ask, well, how did you end up health coaching? So, I saw so many young women and older women as well with breast cancer who were overweight. And I knew from my medical background that there was a huge association between body fat and breast cancer. So by helping women get to a healthy weight, I could help them reduce their risk of a recurrence or another cancer or other weight related problems. So I left mainstream medicine about 10 years ago. I retired. I've been health coaching this program for the past 18 years. And it's just been such a pleasure to be able to help people create health and well being. I also want to remind people that February is Heart Month. And um, the heart, can we live without our hearts? Of course not. But heart disease is the number one cause of death in the United States. Most people don't realize that. It's the number one cause of death in women. It's the number one cause of death in men. And every year in the United States, we see about 800, or we have about 800,000 deaths related to heart disease. 800,000. That's about the number of people that died from COVID when it was in its heyday. And most heart disease is preventable and it's even reversible, the vast majority of cases. And so much of it, the risk factor is excess weight and other related problems. So we can make such a difference. So what do we do as health coaches? Oh, actually, I wanted to go back one slide. So this picture is of some of the health coaches in our organization. And I love this because it's not just me who is out there saving lives and transforming, but it's so many others. And so I'm going to share a little bit more of that as we go on. So, what do we do as health coaches? Well, here's a short list of what we do. We help people achieve a healthy weight, reduce or eliminate medications, and even reverse medical conditions such as high blood pressure and diabetes. We don't make any claims that that's going to happen when we work with someone, but common sense tells us if someone gets to a healthier place and gets rid of 30 or 50 or 70 or 100 pounds of body fat, they're going to be healthier. They're going to reverse some of these things. But at the end of the day, what we do is we help people create vibrant health and add years to their life. And I love these pictures of Sheila. Sheila's a client of mine. She has completely transformed her life. She's lost 225 pounds and just a new way of living has opened up for her. Um, and so I wanted to share with you some of the medical conditions that are caused by, or at least associated with, an unhealthy weight. This was a study from the Cleveland Clinic, published in 2005, and it shows all of the medical conditions that can be reduced by reaching a healthy weight. Um, and things that people would never have even thought of. Depression, sleep apnea, asthma. We talked about heart disease, high blood pressure, reflux. Um, Ladies, most postmenopausal ladies who are listening in, stress incontinence. As we get older and our muscles weaken in that area, and we've got a full bladder and then we cough or sneeze and we leak. That can be improved by getting to a healthy weight. Degenerative joint disease, migraines, high cholesterol, diabetes, fatty liver, and on and on. But at the end of the day, in the lower right-hand corner, if we get to a healthy weight, we can reduce our 5-year risk of dying, our 5-year mortality by 89%. So just, more data of why it's important to get ourselves healthier. So our lifestyle program is so much more than a diet. There's a lot of programs out there. Most of them are diets. They're all about, cutting your calories and, practically starving yourself to death, or going to the gym and working out like a fiend for hours on end. Ours is different. So we start with mindset. We start with the healthy mind. And that reminds me of a client of mine who was very successful. She lost 65 pounds on this lifestyle program. And she's of Eastern European descent. She's an immigrant who's lived in St. Louis for over 20 years, very educated, high position within a company. And when I finished her consultation, she said to me, Dr. Garcia, I just want you to know that I love everything about my life. I love this country. I love my house. I love my career. I love my husband, my children. She said, but I look in the mirror and I hate myself. And she said, what I see when I look in the mirror is a fat person. And what fat means to me is uneducated, undisciplined, lazy. She had this laundry list of adjectives, negative adjectives for herself. And and so that's why the mindset is so important because, oftentimes when people struggle with weight issues, uh, they they doubt themselves. They have low self-esteem. They don't show up in their full capacity. And so we work on mindset. And at the same time, we're working on healthy body. And I'm going to cover some of the things that, are involved in that. And we also talk about healthy finances because if someone has a lot of health issues and they're spending a lot of time in the doctor's office or in the hospital, the emergency room, or seeking out therapies, supplements, and different therapies because of their back pain or their sleeplessness or their anxiety, whatever, all of these things related to their poor health, then that can, gouge their bank account. And we want people to spend their time and effort and their money on the things that matter, getting themselves, healthy once they've reached that point, or keeping themselves healthy once they've reached that point. So our program has 4 components. And I left this picture of myself in my home office talking to a client to remind me to say that most of the health and well-being that takes place anywhere does not come from the doctor's office. I'm a physician. I had the luxury as an oncologist to schedule each new patient for a full hour. If it was a really complicated case, I gave them 2 hours. The primary care physician does not have that luxury. They see a patient who has heart disease and diabetes and high cholesterol and back pain, and the insurance companies allow 15 minutes. That's it. What can you do in 15 minutes? You certainly can't talk about health and well-being. You're going to be talking about the medications and, blood sugars and blah, blah. So health coaching, most of the health coaching is coming from outside the medical profession. We have health coaches in our community that are stay-at-home moms that do a stellar job, some that are former, health professionals, maybe not physicians, some are physicians, but nurses and physical therapists and ultrasonographers and so forth. Our program is powerful with the health coaching, having someone that can walk alongside you every step of the way and guide you. We have educational materials. We have a community of support. Our team has a private Facebook support group, private Facebook group to support our clients. It's very powerful. Clients, support one another. They post healthy recipes. They post their non-scale victories. It's just such a wonderful place to go to connect with other people that are on the same journey. Our team also has a support call for our clients on Mondays, where clients actually, can introduce themselves, they can talk. We have a coach who facilitates that. And then that's followed by an educational segment also on Monday nights. And then lastly, we have our structured meal plan. So if you are someone who struggles with your health, especially weight-related health, and you have a stressful job, you have children, you have a spouse, you've got other, responsibilities. You may not love going to the grocery store to buy every meal and plan and prep every snack. You may really appreciate having a structured meal plan where most of that is done for you. And so we jumpstart uh, success with our clients with our medically formulated meal replacement, the placement replacements, medically formulated meal replacements. They're protein carb balanced, they're low glycemic. Um, and so it's a way for people to nourish their body throughout the day and then just plan one healthy meal, lean protein and vegetables or a salad. So that's how it all starts, and then it evolves into much, much more when people get to their goal weight and their transitioning and so forth. So improving health and well-being is a lot of different components, and we work on every single one of these. Not only reaching a healthy weight through healthy eating, but hydration. So many people are dehydrated, they don't get enough water, moving their bodies. Now, if someone's really got a lot of weight, we don't want them to do a lot of exercise. They could injure themselves. So we take that part in baby steps. And once they start to lose their weight and feel healthier, then they can start to be more active and so forth. Sleep is hugely important. Everything happens during sleep. Cells, tissues, organs, the immune system are healed every single night. And so we need good sleep, stress reduction, relationships. If you wake up every morning and you're feuding with your husband or your kids or your coworkers, you're not going to be healthy. You're going to be producing cortisol, and that's a, a fat storage hormone. So we work on all of these things. And next, I want to bring into our presentation Jill. Jill is a wonderful health coach from Minnesota, and she's going to share her family story. Jill, go ahead.
Hey, thanks, Dee. So, my story is kind of long, so I'm going to try to keep this short. But as you can see, these kids, these are my adult kids. On the left is my son Danny and my daughter Brianna, and it shows kind of their transformation that came about as because of this program. But I was lucky, I don't know if any of you have had this situation where you somehow meet somebody in your life and it just changes the whole trajectory of your life. About 12 years ago, my son was so heavy. At 19, he was on high blood pressure meds. There literally was a time, I still remember it very strongly to this day, where my husband and I looked at each other and started crying because we were like, we're going to lose him by the time he's 30. He was 456 pounds and very depressed, super smart kid, but just wasn't doing much with his life. And I happened to be a horseback rider, and I was on this trip and with a bunch of people, but there was a young man there that I had never met before. Lo and behold, he was riding horse for the first time because he'd lost 100 pounds. So of course, I was thinking of my son. Had to find out all about it from this guy, and he told me what he had done. And I decided I was going to do a ton of research when I got back from a trip, and that's exactly what I did. I found a bunch of scientific studies. I actually have a background in kinesiology from the University of Minnesota, and I've been a personal trainer for a long time. And so the knowing what the science was made a big difference to me. And we decided to get Danny started. Shortly after that, I ran into another personal trainer and got talking and decided to try the program myself. But I actually came at it from the idea of that I might want to coach at some point. Um, but I told her, oh, I could stand to lose 10 pounds. Well, I ended up losing 30 and felt better than I had in many, many years. My husband then came on board and he lost 80 pounds. My daughter ended up losing 80 pounds. She happens to be, as we speak, with her boyfriend in Cancun. Um, and Danny ended up losing 230 pounds. And I just honestly believe that because of the changes he was able to make, that his life was saved. He now is married. He has a baby on the way. He created a very high-end job for himself, finished school. And I mean, his life is 100% different. So, um, his smile is much more sincere too. So that's kind of our story. And the other thing I saw that had changed is I feel as a personal trainer that sometimes people get caught in this downward spiral of health. They might have an injury and then they stop exercising and then they start gaining weight and then they don't want to go to the gym anymore and then they start feeling bad about themselves. And what I saw with Danny was the upward spiral. The program made it easy for him to lose weight, and soon he was starting to educate himself, and then he started, more and more positive things were happening. And now he exercises because he wants to, not because he feels he has to. And I feel like that's a huge mind shift that needs to happen. So, and is really refreshing when it does happen. So that's kind of my story.
That's so wonderful. Jill, you did indeed save your son's life. Um, you heard those stats about heart disease. That includes people in their 20s and 30s.
Mhm.
Yeah, so congratulations.
Thank you.
Lonnie is an attorney from North Carolina, and she's going to share her transformation story. Lonnie, go ahead.
So, so I moved to North Carolina about 2 years ago, and before I came to North Carolina, I had to clean out everything from my house in New Jersey, and had to make room in the moving truck. And a lot of things that I threw away were clothes that were too small for me. And, I had basically resigned myself that basically was where I was going to be. And I wasn't going to be able to lose that weight because I tried for so long and not really made any progress. So I basically was resigned. But then I moved to North Carolina and I got my driver's license photo, which is the one that you see on the left. And that was a wake up call for me that I really needed to do something because I, couldn't believe that that was me. And then a friend of mine who I grew up with across the street from where I grew up in St. Louis, Lisa, uh, posted a photo and I hadn't seen any photos from her in a while. And I was like, wow, I need to know what she's doing. So I messaged Lisa and she connected me with her health coach. And long story short, I, decided to do this lifestyle program. And Lisa actually was my coach, which has been such a pleasure reconnecting with her over this time and getting and staying healthy together. So, yeah, so let's see what else. Um,
And Lonnie, how has your life changed? First of all, how much weight have you lost? And then what are the things that you're able to do now that you couldn't do when you were so much heavier?
Yeah, so I lost 80 pounds over the course of about 9 months. And I made a whole list of reasons why I wanted to get that weight off and get healthy. I mean, some of the things I've accomplished is I did get off my blood pressure medication, which was a huge relief. And I also had been kind of working toward getting ready to get a new job, but really hadn't had the courage to do that because of the extra weight that I had. So now I have a new job, and in 2 days, I'm going to be going to Thailand for a company meeting with my new coworkers and meeting them all in person. So we even have a beach outing. So I'm super excited that I will be wearing a bathing suit and feeling comfortable in it. So I'm really excited.
Yeah, it's so wonderful, so life-changing. And so thank you both for sharing those transformation stories. And I want to share this transformation story very quickly. So this is Jeff. And Jeff had a severe heart disease and a laundry list of other medical problems, diabetes, high blood pressure, sleep apnea, restless leg syndrome. He's only 46 years old in this photograph. I know he probably looks older, but he's 46 years old. And his cardiologist had told him that because his heart disease was so bad that he really needed to basically sit on the sofa. He was on disability. Every time he walked across the room, he would experience chest pain. And so he was, his life was really limited. And he and his wife had never had children. They adopted this little baby from their hometown. But anyway, Jeff got on our program. He lost 90 pounds in his first 6 months, went on to lose 114 pounds in 9 months. But in the first 6 months, he was able to get off 14 prescription drugs, 14. This is his primary care physician from Barnes Hospital in St. Louis. She was ecstatic. Again, she told him, Jeff, you've got to lose weight. It's the only way your heart's going to get better. But she really didn't have the solution. And so through his health coach, he was able to get off those 14 medications. Now, Jeff is really handy with his hands. He's very creative. So once he lost the weight and was able to get off the sofa because he no longer had chest pain, he designed this play yard for his little toddler, went to Lowe's, bought all the stuff, built it. He also built an addition on his house, and he was up on the roof doing the roofing. Now, this is someone that sat on the sofa because of chest pain, and now he's on the roof doing his own roofing. But the last thing about Jeff is his prescription drug copays dropped from $1,100 a month to $25 a month. That's what I'm talking about when I say, healthy finances. So just these stories that will just bring tears to your eyes. So we're all about lifelong transformation, one healthy habit at a time. What that means is you don't have to do every single thing all at once. Start by drinking more water, improving your sleep, trying our program. Maybe the exercise piece is something you haven't done for a long time and you physically can't do very much. Some of those things will come. And so it's just a matter of finding out what's important and jumping in and taking the first step. The other thing that we do is for people that love the results, or maybe they've never had a weight issue themselves. I certainly have not, but I was looking for something to help my patients. We help train and develop people who would like to join us, people who would like to coach, and maybe to create a second income stream, parents who would like to work from home, people that are retired who might want to do something other than golf or whatever retirees do. So that is a possibility. And this is a great quote from Forbes magazine about health coaching. It's one of the smartest career choices in the economy today, part of a $4 trillion industry and growing. If you want to make a difference and be well paid, it's the place to be. So I want to close with this. I want to thank everybody for being on our event tonight. We're going to do these once a month going forward. And any questions that you have, talk to the person who invited you. And again, thanks so much for joining us tonight. Have a great evening.